What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 5 different stocks today. We're going to be going over MASFIN for Babu, AMC for Brandon, SMCI for Rob, 777 Piano, TSM for Ricio LaFleur, and Uber for Ricio LaFleur. A name so nice you got to say it twice. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for being here. Let's get started. All right. On a monthly basis on MASFIN, I like where you are in the RSI. I like where you are price action wise too. You might come down a little bit. Let's see. Let's actually look at the weekly. Yeah, the weekly kind of looks like you might come down, to be completely fair. You tested these areas. I know I was saying that I feel like what I was saying was that you were going to continue moving upwards, but you've rejected these areas, and henceforth it does look like you might go a little bit lower. Finding support on the 618 a couple times, then rejecting the 382. The next area to hold would be this 61869 area, and it's very possible that you could go all the way down to your 786 to 886. So over the weeks, over the months, expect to move down to 278 to 267 at a minimum. You really could hold that area. If not, you will see prices at 254 to 241, somewhere in that zone at the most from a downside. You're at 290 now. And again, this could take some time. You do have somewhat of an inverse or of a regular head and shoulders kind of portrayal of a pattern here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, kind of. It's not perfect, but kind of, right? And I wonder if this were to be taken as such, maybe we take away that low, we take that high. The measure move of the breakout, I mean, that would take you all the way down to your expected extension areas, which personally, I wouldn't think. I wouldn't think that you see that. I would think you hold 241 personally. If you went that low, you might hold 267 to 278, but lower is what makes sense to me. Yes. Lower for the time being. All in all, though, like I said, I like your monthly. I think you are going to move up, but you just might have to form a higher low first, right? And who knows where that'll be. Maybe you hold this area here. Maybe you don't, but time will tell. If I had to give you my opinion, to me it would make sense if you did not hold this area and you did go lower. I'm offering the 61869 area as like a area that you could hold at a minimum, that you'd go down there, but I personally would expect you see 254 to 240, somewhere in that range personally. I can be wrong, but that is my expectation. And if it doesn't, it's not crazy to hold this area and then move up. But just with the way it looks, I would think that you are in the middle of a down move. AMC Entertainment. Let's see here. We'll look at it on the monthly real quick, right? Yeah, so we got this big old dump right here. I guess actually right before the big old pump. We're right at the end of this down move at the low to this high. We hit the extended area, the 1272 to the 1414, found support there. Moved all the way back up and rejected this area, this previous area of support where you found support several times for several months. You even found a little bit of resistance for a month here, 2 months here, and then rejected it again. That's a harsh rejection. I do think you're working your way up. I do think that AMC is working its way up probably to 1035 to 1565, somewhere in that area. But inevitably, a look like this makes me think that you are almost certainly at some point going to see $1.09. So whether this takes the rest of the crypto market to achieve, maybe it happens by the end of this year. I don't know. I wouldn't expect. I would not expect for the remainder of this year, probably not even the beginning of next year, would I expect that you see some kind of crazy AMC pump like we've seen historically. I think that you're going to creep and crawl your way up here, and then once you get up here again, you'll get that nice move down. Maybe it'll be steady. Maybe it'll be a harsh rejection. Time will tell, but up, I do feel comfortable saying I do think that you are moving up. Weekly RSI looks fine. The daily RSI looks really good. So with that in mind, from a high point here to a low point there, your next target area would be, once you get above 616, your next target area is about 790 to 850, somewhere in that zone. That's AMC. SMCI, Supermicrocomputer Inc. Incorporated, whatever. On a monthly basis, very nice. Yeah, nice little chart there. Had a massive run up. Double top on the monthly RSI. You are probably at your top. you've probably seen your top. Let's see. It is possible that you can continue running and perhaps you form some kind of further divergence and maybe you have one more run or two more runs in you. You do something like this where you consolidate and then you move up. And each move up, I would assume, would be weaker than the previous move up, stuff like that. I think that you've seen the ultimate strength of this. You can see on a monthly basis, right, that your volume has decreased. I guess it's died off, but you're not moving up. So that's to be completely fair. But generally speaking, topping off on high volume, that happens. That's pretty common. Weekly RSI, I don't have a problem with it. It's very neutral, but it looks more bullish than it does bearish at the moment. Relative low to relative high here. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it. I don't know if you're going to break down. You could. I don't know if you do. Daily RSI looks neutral, not bullish, not bearish. It could look worse. It could look better. You're in an area where you might start to go lower, and at which case then you might look worse, like you could be breaking out of this now. It's hard to say. Let's give it some if-then statements, right? If you close a week below here, below 710, then you're likely going to go to 644. So if you close below $710, you will likely see 644 or probably even a little bit below that, with the absolute potential to go all the way down to 432, 382. And if you made a move like that, I couldn't help but assume that this actually might be the end of this, right? You might actually see a more extensive correction overall. Let's see. Yeah, perhaps you move down like greater than a 60% drop from here or more. That really could happen. But again, 710, that's the line in the sand that you want to hold, okay? If, however, you don't even interact with that area and you move up from here and you close above, let's say $970, if you can close above there, then you're probably moving up. And where are you going to move up to? From a high to a low point, you would move up to 1,450 to 1,790-ish in that area, right? So that's your if-then statements. You don't want to break 710. If you break 710, that's it. Your glory days are behind you. But if you can break above like 970, you've got a little bit more to go. Again, it's not going to be as crazy, right? You can see that this move here, it's already... I guess that's actually a pretty phenomenal finish. It is bigger, I think, than this move was. But a move up to your expected zone, that would be dramatically smaller than this. And you'd probably get some bearish divergence both on your weekly and your monthly, and that would send you down. Closing this month green would be a nice goal to add on top of that. So don't break below 710, but also close this month green. You're only down 2%. There's a lot of time left in the month. I think that that's a doable ask. But if you can't do that and you close below 710, this very well could be a top. It could be a topping point. And especially if you close below 710 and you start picking up volume as you're moving down, if volume starts coming back, I think that could be indicative that that's the top. So precariously placed here. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable buying. I'd want to wait. I don't know if I'd want to short it either. I'd want to wait. So that's the best that I have. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, right, doing its thing, moving on up. I forget who it was. They're not here. They're never here whenever things like this are doing what you expect them to do. But whenever they're down here, moving down, they're talking smack. They're like, it's not going to see new all-time highs. You're crazy. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it will. It very much will. I've been calling for that. I forget when I started talking about it. It wasn't last year. No, so it had to have been over here then. Maybe it was like this month. It like looked like it rejected. Maybe that was it. So it was sometime this year. I didn't talk about it. I don't think I talked about it back here. Maybe I did. I don't know. All I do know, maybe I did. I don't remember. It's been so much time. So many charts. What I do know is you have bearish divergence on your monthly, right? Volume is dying off as you're moving higher. You hit your expected zone. It would not be crazy to move back to 145 to 131. Find support there and then continue to move higher. And if not, well, then that's your high. But I would think that you do move higher. But for the time being, down. If not, if you don't move down here, then the only other option really would be to just move straight up. No, likely in this area, if you don't move down, what you would do is kind of consolidate in this area. And if you do something like that, if you're not moving down over the next like couple months and you continue to consolidate, really maybe even like the next like month, and you just continue to consolidate, that would actually be a good look, and I would renounce these lower prices. But for now, 131 to 145, that's your target area, sir or madam. Moving down, breaking down with increased volume, it's looking like you're going to go there. I'm pretty convinced you are. But I don't think it's the end of things. I think that you will continue higher, but time will tell. Time will tell, and it doesn't take a lot to change that opinion. Uber Technologies, 66 bucks. I wish there was more data to go off of with this one, but I think we've got enough to make an appropriate assumption, hopefully. Oh my goodness, I'm so surprised with this. It does look like you want to go lower. If this month can close green, if you can reverse this month and close green, that would change my opinion. You should have, this should have been your spring that sprung you up to these areas or beyond, but it didn't. You're rejecting, and you're rejecting the overbought zone here. The last time you did that on a monthly basis, which we're on right now. Sorry, let me mute that. I thought it was muted, but I had to restart my computer. So, anyways, what was I saying? Last time you rejected this, you went down for 3 months. You know, you just rejected it now. I mean, you could go down here, still inevitably move higher, but you might go down first. Let's look at the weekly and see what we can divulge. And I just want to keep those areas. You either have a double bottom here, which I doubt. I would very much doubt that you hold $63, $65, that range. You're likely going to go to that $56, $55 range. That likely, in my opinion. Again, unless you can have a nice reversal this month. But man, that's a hell of a week with not a lot of volume. To be completely fair, it's not a lot of volume. Your RSI does not look too terrible on the weekly. It's very neutral, and you're at an area where you could expect to see a bounce. So your goal for the next day, for Friday, tomorrow, is to close this week above 67.42. Close it above there. If not, you do run the risk of going lower for probably not just a couple weeks, but a couple months or so. Let's look at the daily, see what that looks like. Yeah, I'm very hard pressed to say that you go lower just with the way that things look from a volume perspective. But from an RSI perspective, from the price action itself, I kind of do think you're going to move lower. So I'm going to call for that. Prove me wrong. Close above 67.42 tomorrow. Or if you close below it tomorrow, get above it immediately next week and don't go lower. That'd be like your one hope, but the likelihood of that's going to be very small if you close down here. I think that you are going to close down here. So lower, man. 60 bucks, 56 bucks, and that 56 bucks is your golden extension zone, golden ratio, and it's 56 to 55, that target area for your 886 would be. So that makes sense to me. That's probably where you're going to go. You're moving up, right? You're in this up move, but right now you're in a correction. Corrections tend to be 1, 2, 3s. They tend to be, right? You're in your overall up move. You're in an uptrend, but you're in a corrective phase right now. You've seen your movement down 1, your correction in the correction 2, and then your third leg, and then you'll be done with that. So that just fits the narrative of a lot of things. So anyways, that's all I got. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.